Melissa. How are you doing? Good, good. Okay, so I have something I'd like to discuss with you. Is now a good time or should I come back later? Okay, you're good? Okay. So your first breastfeeding session went really well. You were able to get Andy to latch on properly and we could hear him swallowing really clearly, so that's a great first step. Now, there's a method for timing your breastfeeding sessions that I would like to teach you that a lot of women find makes the breastfeeding process go a lot smoother. Is that something you would be interested in? Okay, great. So this method is called cue-based feeding. And now a lot of mothers find that it's the most difficult to feed their baby when they are in distress or crying because you have to calm them down before you can get them to latch on. So basically what cue-based feeding does is it allows you as the parent to pick up on earlier hunger cues that the baby will show before they get upset and start to cry, so you don't have to deal with trying to get a fussy baby to latch. So what I thought we could do is I can explain a few of these cues to you. There's 4 of the most common ones that I'd like to discuss. And then I can show you a short video of what the cue looks like because I know you mentioned you learn best by seeing things visually. And then you can start to pick up on these cues in Andy. So how does that sound? Okay, great. The first cue I want to talk about is lip smacking. So babies will physically smack their lips together like, and you can actually hear it. It's like a soft clapping sound. And so why don't we take a look at what that looks like. Got this little guy here. And if you listen, you can hear the sound. Okay. So there's that one, lip smacking. And the second cue is sucking or mouthing. So when babies are hungry, they will put almost anything in their mouth and start sucking on it, even if it doesn't resemble a breast. And this can include anything from toys to their hands to your fingers. So why don't we just take a look at what that looks like. Here we've got this little baby sucking on her toy. But it doesn't have to just be a toy. Like I mentioned, it can be a multitude of things. So that's sucking for you. And then, so next we have a cue that you can actually test yourself. And this is called rooting reflex. So this is when you tickle your baby's cheek with your finger and they actively search for it and try and put it in their mouths. So why don't we just take a look at what that looks like. And we can also practice doing this with Andy later on if you'd like. So you can see the little cheek tickle, and the baby immediately is looking for that finger and trying to put it in his mouth. Okay. So, all right, we've got one more. So this last one is clenched fists over the chest or the face. So when a baby is satisfied, their hands will be open and relaxed, but when they want food, their arms can become rigid and they'll clench their fists up and hold them over their chest and face. And we call this hunger posture. So why don't we take a look at what this one looks like. We've got this little guy. You can see his hands are in fists. He's putting it over his chest, over his face. And this is the final sign you want to look for before baby will start to get cranky and cry because they want food. Okay. All right, so let's just review the signs we've looked at. We've talked about lip smacking, sucking and mouthing, rooting reflex, and hunger posture. Do you have any questions about those, or do you want to see any of the videos again? Okay, great. So now you can start picking up on these cues in Andy, and if you're ever confused about whether he's showing a sign or not, don't hesitate to ring your call bell and I'll help you out until you're ready to go home. I know how overwhelming your first baby can be, so don't hesitate to ask for help. And that's everything. So I'll be back to check on you in a bit, Melissa, okay? All right, bye for now.